Welcome back to another great episode of That LA Garage. Today we're going to be doing an oil change and showing you how to do it and pointing out some components of the oiling system of the Ferrari f430 so you can do it at home or at least have an understanding of what everything is. So before we get to that, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, like, share, comment below, and let's get to work. So the first few steps is to start with the heated engine, warm up your car to operating temperature, put it in the lift, and you're ready to go. Now we're going to open the engine compartment, and the only thing we're going to be doing up here is removing the dipstick and oil fill cap. We're going to move this aside. We just doing this to let air come through when we remove the oil from underneath. All right, now that the car is up in the air, we can start looking for the drain plugs and all the access panels. So I'm going to show you how to get to that. Take a small screwdriver and you open up, there's one right here. Take that rubber grommet off. And another one over here. And we have one more. You got to take off 5 torque bolts, little screws actually. All right, so that comes off. Let me show you guys inside what you're going to see. From the first one, there is a 19 millimeter Allen key hole. This is coming from the block. And on the big access panel, we are going to see here the oil filter. Oil filter has this rubber grommet that sits around it. So once you drain everything, all the oil comes out. Most of the oil will come down from here if you do it correctly. To keep having it going all over the underbelly pan. And you have another one over here. This is also on the block. So there's a few different ways to get to it because there's very limited space. There's these tools here. They work, but I like this, the old-fashioned way. Put it to the largest settings. Put it around. And start turning it. All right, so now we can start loosening it by hand. Okay. All right, let that drain. And after it stops draining, I'm going to move on to the next one. While the oil filter is still dripping just a little bit, I'm going to open this big one. And a lot of oil comes out of this usually. I'm going to lift this pan. We don't want to splash all over the place. There she goes. while those are draining, they're just dripping, so I have left a small pan, and I put the bigger pan under this one, and I'm going to, this one's a 10 millimeter Allen key socket. And I'm going to empty out this one. And again, just let it sit and drain. I let the car sit for at least 15-20 minutes to get all the oil out of it. So I let it drain for about a half an hour. You don't need to, but I did. I got busy doing something else. So a new copper ring comes with the oil filter. Plug this one up. Snug it up and we'll torque it in after. Next, I'm going to move over to the second drain hole. Again, new copper ring. Oil filter. Comes with a little cover on the top. Oil up the O-ring just like every other car, every other oil filter. So now we're ready to torque it down at 70 foot-pounds. I'm sorry, 70 Newton meters. That's it. That was the back. This is the front one. I mean, that was the front one. This is the back one. Done. So now I'm just going to clean up everything, put all the grommets back on, and this cover, and then we're going to continue from the top. Okay, now it's time to fill up the oil. We fill it up through here. This is where the dipstick and cap was originally. That's where we're going to put it back. So right now we're going to fill it up with 7.5 quarts. And we're going to fill up with 7.5 quarts. And then we're going to start the engine, back it up, put on level ground, leave it idling. Engine got to come to temperature. And you could rev it to 4,500 RPMs to get it there faster. Once it's at temperature, you check the dipstick while it's running. So I'm going to explain to you now while we have the engine is off and quiet. So over here is low. This dot shows the low. This is the high. You obviously want it as close as possible to the top. This engine takes 10 liters in total, but when we do oil changes, not everything comes out. So we're going to start with 7.5. We'll put in there, and then we're going to put in half a quart at a time till we get the correct level. So let's start filling it up. Thanks for watching That LA Garage. This wraps it up. Before you guys go, please subscribe, like, comment, and all that good stuff. And don't forget, last but not least, if you ain't got haters, you ain't popping.